with Erika and Jen, certain moments of like, wait, what?
Well, also even in a
and Kathy Hilton.
And Kathy fucking Hilton. And I'm going to say this in a bigger context. I think we're going to look back at the incredible wealth that these shows have built for women in their 40s and 50s. Like, I don't think you realize how iconic and socially changing that is. And I'm talking for white women, for Black women, for Asian women. I mean, what you've seen Kandi Burruss do, I think what you've seen Nene Leakes do, Marlo do, Kenya Moore. I mean, these women are creating institutional wealth, Bethany Frankel, for generations from reality. This isn't just them exploiting their lives. These fucking women are players now in business. The Kardashians. I mean, I think we're going to look back. There are very few other, and I know scripted television out here is like the golden star. You know, are you in scripted? No, I'm not. I don't give a fuck about scripted. But, you know, I mean, who cares? When's the last person that got, I mean, maybe Mel Gibson off scripted? You know, who cares about scripted? Reality has changed the game for women of all races and ages. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I say it all the time. I mean, they're going younger and all this stuff. I mean, so like when I'm like, this person's too old, like everyone's like Nicolette Sheridan and Nicolette Sheridan. Nicolette is too old, not by my standards, by what the network is doing. The network just cast a new housewife of Beverly Hills. Her name is Crystal Kung Minkoff. She's 39 years old. Okay, Diana's a little older, but like they don't want, you know, but I agree with you. I have said this, like, it has given, I mean, the fact is, look at MTV, look at Nick and Jessica. How old were they? Look at the Hills. It's given 40s, 50s, and 60s. I love seeing the 40s, 50s, especially 50s and 60s on the Housewives. I'm all for it. It's given, these women would never be on TV. They would never be greenlit. So it's a whole new thing. And I am so for it. What do we think of, you know, Beverly Hills? The world has lost its mind over Kathy and Rinna. And I mean, what do you think?
Well, you jump in. I don't want to talk too much, but I will say this last episode, there is clearly a cover up. I don't believe it is so obvious. I mean, all this of Rinna leaving Crystal's party because she can't be around Kathy, over Kathy saying that she was going to destroy Kyle. It doesn't make sense. I'm not buying it anymore. You know, Andy Cohen came out this week because everybody was tweeting at Andy. Where's the audio from the night? Why are we not seeing the audio? Andy said it's a private club. We couldn't do audio. Now, Andy got damn lucky because that's probably true. I bet this high-end country club in Aspen did not want, I think that's 100% true. So I think whatever this alleged, which, you know, Rinna, there's now leaked messages to somebody over text that Rinna says, you know, it was racist, it was homophobic by Kathy. So I actually think it's probably true. There were not any, there probably were they weren't mic'd, right? There was no cameras. They weren't mic'd. Okay, that part is true. But there is definitely audio of them back in that van. You cannot tell me that they weren't mic'd, especially if the shit got heated, that they weren't mic'd back to the van, to the Aspen home, and then that night for the fight. You know, I think that audio has been destroyed, lost. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Now I totally am on board. Something bigger happened for sure. And I think they're all covering it up because they all have a lot to lose. I mean, I think this is why I still say Rinna's coming back next season. And I think this is why Rinna's like, oh, I want one more season to promote Rinna Beauty. I'm fucking coming back. I know where the skeletons, I know where the bones are buried. Like, do you want me to go? And they're like, they don't want that. They're just getting over all this racial stuff. They won with Nene. So like, I completely think there's some kind of cover up. It's in Kathy's, and I don't know what it was. I mean, maybe it was homophobic. And like I said last episode, and I think you kind of like scolded me for this, but you know, Kathy is sort of this beautiful, oblivious, but also that works both ways. Like it can be very hurtful. So I don't know. Did Kathy say something she didn't realize was offensive, but it was very offensive? Maybe. And then from there, it like escalates. They go into a huge fight. Or I mean, maybe Kathy is like this awful human being that's very entitled, and we just see the kind of fun side of Kathy. I mean, I don't know. None of that would surprise me, but what's your take? I mean, I do now think a lot more went to this is not about her saying that she's going to destroy Kyle and Mauricio. Do you think?
No, I don't. I mean, I think there's so much in there.
I
First of
know.
all, and by the way, when everyone now starts DMing, I agree with you. The one sentence in there that everyone's gonna tear apart is like they did win, guys, against Nene. So yeah, oh, it was everyone's gonna pull up the language and it was dismissed with prejudice. It doesn't matter. It went away. Nene is not rebringing this lawsuit ever. No one does that ever. I mean, so they did win. People could dilute themselves in any way that they would like to, but we're here at Behind the Velvet Rope with Sarah Fraser Show. We actually just deal in reality, whatever it is, good or bad. What you think that Rinna's now like? Basically, you're saying blackmailing them of like, bring me back, or I'm gonna fucking
No.
help.
I think Rinna's smarter than that. Rinna's been in this game a long time. I think they're smarter than that. I think they know. I think everybody knows. Don't you think something went down? And I think.
But here's the thing.
But wait. Do you think something else went down, or do you think it truly was like Kathy? There's nothing racial, nothing homophobic. Kathy just went nuts, and it just wasn't filmed.
I mean, listen, we heard about this all season from the beginning that this happened in Aspen, and it was apparently, I mean, in the beginning, we heard it was 2 different words being used. I heard one of them was directed towards, one of them was the DJ, and maybe that was the N-word. I don't know. And one was Sutton's assistant. That's what we heard in the beginning. I do think it's strange that they included Sutton's assistant in so many scenes this season. It is her story. She doesn't have to the 2 sons like Garcelle. She doesn't have the family. So I guess that makes sense. I mean, we saw her kids a little. You do have to show your family. Nothing against her assistant. I mean, if that's really, I do believe, listen, Sutton spends a lot of time with her assistant. It's like basically her friend. This is basically a paid friend for Sutton. Like they're out doing karaoke. Sure. And there's no shade in any of this. I mean, when you have a ton of money, why not pay all your friends? I'll give everyone a job if I have a gazillion dollars. But I just think it's purposeful. It was purposefully edited to include this person that may not have been in that many scenes if this wasn't the end thing that was going to happen, right? Because then you put a face to it. It's more, I mean, they have the footage. Yeah, let's edit this, make a story. So that's the fact that we heard this and they were including him in the scenes. I think it was leading up to this, and that's who it was against. In part, I do think I think there were 2 things that happened kind of all at once as Kathy was allegedly having this breakdown. She directed some of it towards the DJ with certain words and some of it